All right, folks. Hey, we're going to continue working on art assets for the upcoming supplement here, Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. We are going to be, looks like we're going to be publishing on Monday. So if you're here in the future, check the DMs Guild and for Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. But in the meantime, let's get back to work. So I'm going to check my signal here, make sure I'm coming through okay. I'll go through my intro spiel here real quick, and then we'll get back to work. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it sounds like it's coming through okay. Okay, cool. Hey, if you're here in the future, you can skip past this. It takes like maybe a minute for me to crack through my intro here. I need to control my volume a little bit. There we go. And so let's see here. I'm gonna press some buttons while I do that. Let's see. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I have been focusing my attention here on Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, the new Spelljammer's Adventures in Space campaign setting that was released by Wizards of the Coast in August 2022. And so I think a lot of folks, so we had boat mechanics in Ghost of Saltmarsh a number of years ago. Then Descent into Avernus came out, and that provided basically truck mechanics or like, you know, cars, like things like Saltmarsh dealt with on the water. Descent into Avernus dealt with on the land. Everyone assumed that Spelljammer would provide for adventures in space with flying ships. But they basically said, you know, if you want to have flying ships, just refer to Ghost of Saltmarsh and just don't have any water, and there you go. And that's as far as they went. 5e generally tries to take what they have and take any concepts that they create and distill them down to work with rules that already exist. It's a viable strategy because it minimizes the amount of splat books and supplements needed to make your game go. But there's been 50 years of tradition that when you come up with a new campaign, you have supplemental mechanics that embellish, lean into, and reinforce the narrative of that campaign with mechanics that reflect the things that happen inside of it. So it was a disconnect, and so that got me to work. So I'll just finish up here and say a big shout out to the Spelljammer Preservation Society, our Spelljammer, for having awesome conversations. I've just posted on the X Twitter platform that I'm live. I'm at Phil Kearney. You can check me there. Best way right now to support the channel is to plan on purchasing this thing when it publishes on DMsGuild. But for now, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I am live in the future. This book cover here we created back on episode 15. Here's our full playlist of 350 some odd episodes. Episode 1 is basically me picking through the 5e mechanics that were provided by Wizards of the Coast, recognizing that the upscale mechanics that we had already been developing are going to work for vehicles as well. And then we got to work. So here's the work that we did. This PDF is done. It is 107 pages. The first 80 pages basically lean into the combat, spellcasting, and adventuring chapters of the Player's Handbook and DMG for 5e, and basically rebuilding combat and spellcasting, the work at the 50 and 500 foot scale for different sizes of combat. And hold on real quick. Let's. We also have the scaling mechanics that we've developed for this from 5 feet to 50 feet to 500 feet allows us to be able to do things like represent a 500-foot space as a squadron of ships that can then zoom in further into the 5-foot scale to fight on deck. Here we're showing a fleet of Star Maws engaging hammer ships that then close in distance to engage at the 50-foot scale face-to-face, which we can then see warbirds further scaling in to land on deck of one of these ships, dispatch troops onto the deck to get ready to fight in 5-foot scale hand-to-hand combat. So you can simultaneously have combat at the 5-foot scale, 50-foot scale, and 500-foot scale, which can then further scale out to the 1 mile scale And you can see here that we can like zoom in and out on parallel maps, which a lot of the front end of the combat movement section of this document leans into. And then, of course, we have the ship roles idea, where instead of each character with specific proficiencies or whatever can do a specific task on the ship, instead we reimagine those roles as uses of your action economy, so that a pilot can use object interaction, actions, attack actions, bonus actions, reactions differently than what a siege commander, a squadron commander, or a support option character would use for themselves. But you can freely mix and match all of these things inside of your round of combat. So you could, at the 5-foot scale, cut a bitch, and then use another attack to issue a siege command to order a siege crew to fire a weapon at another ship. You could then maneuver a ship that you have that you are piloting to move and disengaging combat to then move to not draw opportunity attacks from other ships that you're engaged in combat with, and reactions like reloading, making opportunity attacks against other ships. So you basically just break up your action economy at the 5-foot scale, the 50-foot scale, the 500-foot scale, the same way that you would expect 5e combat to already operate. And then you would get into exploration and spell casting at larger scales. And then we provide how this can affect the creatures that are presented in Boo's Menagerie for Spelljammer. And we provide a random system generator so that you can create wild space systems using the physics that we provide for like rotational speed, orbiting speeds, planets versus moons, how planar gravity works versus spherical gravity, to be able to do cool things like ring worlds. There's a bunch of really neat, just little niche mechanics in here that give you enough guts to be able to make your own rulings, so that you can understand how Spelljammer can work beyond Light as Araxis into 5e. And then, so the last 25 pages of the book is a conversion guide for Light as Araxis. Light as Araxis is the adventure that Wizards created to showcase Spelljammer as a concept. So we took all the physics that we built in the first 80 pages of this book and demonstrate how those physics can apply to these rules and rulings and mechanics can apply to Light as Araxis, leaning into creating new combat encounters and adventuring options that are seeded inside of the adventure already, that we were able to pull out and expand on. What's going on over here, buddy? Looks like there's a... Oh, I've got a glitch going on with my text. I need to fix that. I like scrolling through these things over and over again, because apparently I find flaws occasionally. Yeah, we'll have to go back and fix that. But for now, let's get to work. So I'm going to have to fix that. So yeah, book cover. Right now, what we're doing is we are building ship tracking sheets. So we each of the ships. Yeah, let's go back up to. Oh wow, yeah, this is really flawed. I glitched something someplace. Here, let's see if I can just fix that real quick. Let this document pop open, and if I have to, I can go back to a previous version. But let's go down to looks like trouble started somewhere down here. Where does it start to glitch out? That should probably fix everything. Just had an extra space in there somehow. Okay, cool. Yeah, everything's back on track. I'm going to hit save here real quick before trouble occurs. Yeah, 313. Cool. Okay, great. Everything's back on track, so I can rest easy again. Let's go down to... let's go find our tracking. Where do we want to be at? Boop. Here we go. No, wait. I want to be boop down here so we can scroll up. Great. So here's a slew of ships that we converted using the mechanics in the book that we have. Here's just a mass chart that you can take a look at here. This will all be on the DMsGuild in the preview once it publishes, probably on Monday, maybe Saturday. I think I'm just gonna let it steep a little bit and publish on Monday. I have Monday off, so that's a great day for me to publish this. But we have fighter craft at the 50-foot scale. The vessels are at the 500-foot scale. They occupy a number of 50-foot spaces, while fighter craft occupy a number of 5-foot spaces. And as a result, we have a slew of cool ships. Where are they at? Cool ships. There we go. And then they have all these different weapons. So we're building easy reference sheets for all the weapons that these things have. And as you can see here, I just put a space filler for a squid ship. But let's go back up to the top here real quick just so you guys can see what it is that we're doing. Like here's a damselfly, right? A damselfly has a harpoon flingers, a mangonel, a ballista, and it also has the landing legs, which can double as piercing rams. So piercing rams are things that are operated in attack with the pilot role, and the siege commander operates and commands troops on ballistas, mangonels. You could fire a harpoon flinger. Harpoon flingers are just from Descent into Avernus. So they're the big mounted guns that you can fire. And but you can operate crews of those. Like you could have a siege commander could command separate crews to fire the mangonel, the ballista, and the harpoon flingers all at the same time as a barrage at the same target. And so you can increase the scale of damage that you deal per round as you increase weapons, but your reload rate is going to continue stacking up, and you're basically rolling a proficiency die as part of your attack roll to see if you hit something, and that proficiency die doubles as your reload roll. So if your proficiency dice are from the Dungeon Master's Guide, it's a variant rule from a static proficiency bonus. So instead of having a +2 bonus at first level, you'd have a D4 to create more variables. That die is really useful for things like reload mechanics or like refresh, like magic ability mechanics, so that if you hit the number or higher on your reload score, your crew is automatically going to be able to coordinate actions to be ready to fire again this round. So the more weapons you stack up, the more a higher rank commander you need to be able to coordinate all those weapons at the same time to be able to fire potentially more than once per round. Like there's 2 harpoon flingers, a mangonel, and a ballista. The default number for all that would be a 10, and a D4, D6, D8, D10. That'd be a 13th level character that'd fire all these things at the same time. But the higher rank the more proficient your crew is, the lower they can drop that reload number from 10 down to potentially 5 for an incredibly experienced crew, which would mean that a first rank, second rank, if the reload score was only 5 and a second rank, a 5th level character has a proficiency bonus of +3, which is a proficiency die of D6. If your reload score is only 5, then you would be able to potentially roll a 5 or a 6 on that D6 to have all those weapons fire and then reload and fire again. So that's basically how the mechanic works there, which we've dived into. You can check out some of my videos, my posted videos that dive into the mechanics. It also works the same for squadrons. Squadrons have a reload number. So the more squadrons of ships that you command, the higher your reload score gets. A high-level character can command a fleet of ships to attack repeatedly, even if possible, depending on how many ships you're commanding at a time. Or you can break up the action economy between multiple characters commanding different squadrons within a fleet, so that you can have people commanding different wings of your armada, which is what we dive into in the Light of Xeraxis. So without further ado, we consolidate all of that information here on the same sheet, so it's real easy for you can see cargo and tonnage, terrain types, like can they land or can they traverse those terrains, the statistics for the ship themselves, their hit point capacity, saving throw bonuses that you get for the material that's used, strength and constitution versus dexterity. Like materials, the maximum dexterity bonus you can get is a +2, and it gives you a +2 bonus if better than your strength or constitution. The pilot becomes the ship. You animate it like you awaken the ship while you sit at the helm. So it becomes a creature that is capable of performing actions under your command. And they're like the awaken spell can make it become a sidekick, which you can keep an eye out for a supplement that we'll be building here in the not too distant future. Light material doesn't affect Doesn't provide any intrinsic strength or constitution bonus, but it doesn't penalize your dexterity either. As opposed to, we're still in the, let's go down to a spiderling. A spiderling is made of metal. It's a heavy material. So it automatically has a +5 bonus to strength and constitution saving throws, but it doesn't allow you to apply dexterity at all. And similarly, its armor class doesn't, it's heavy armor. It doesn't allow you to implement your dexterity either. So metal ships, heavy materials, slower and clumsy, and that slowness is reflected by the dexterity saving throw, and the hardiness of it is reflected in the armor class and the damage reduction that it has. While lighter material is more like moderate composite materials like medium armor. You can apply a dexterity bonus up to +2, but it also caps your dexterity saving throw at +2, while imparting, if this is better than your pilot, a strength and constitution bonus to saving throws of +2 each. And then again with light material, it doesn't impede your dexterity at all. You can apply your full dexterity bonus to the armor class like light armor, but it also doesn't have any intrinsic bonuses to strength and constitution, so it's pretty frail. Most of the things in here, the book allows you to use strength or constitution versus dexterity. Like if your ship's gonna get scuttled, you could use a strength saving throw or a dexterity saving throw to resist being scuttled. So it just depends on what kind of material you're using. Depends on what kind of a combat character you are, like what kind of combat pilot you are. Are you a heavy tanky, taking lots of damage and shrugging off hits, but not heavily maneuverable to be able to dodge things? Or are you in a light nimble craft that is able to dodge hits, dodge fireballs, and make dexterity saves, but can't tank a lot of damage in the process? So that's some of the ideas that's behind this. And of course, the mechanics that we use is that while you are awakening that ship and you are the pilot, you can take damage for your ship, kind of like a warding, like a ward spell. What is it? Warding. The warding bond spell. Thank you. Allows you to take damage for your team and get damage reduction as a result of the damage that you take. Being a pilot basically creates a ward that warding bond for the ship. So a 16th level barbarian with 200 hit points and resistance active can, while raging as a pilot, can soak a ton of damage for, like, say, the scorpion ship that it's piloting, using its claws to attack things while raging, gaining your rage bonus to affect your pilot score. Super fun stuff. It's all laid out in the book. You're going to love it. But getting back to work here, let's finally getting to work. Let's go to the Wasp. Wasp. So here we are developing our Wasp. Let's drop in a quote-unquote background so we can see what we're operating on. Right now, we want to replace this with the Wasp token, and here are all the weapons that the Wasp has. Let's see if I can scooch this over and shrink this up a bit so you can see the different weapons that this has. It has a slashing ram on the prow of its nose. So I'm going to be taking time changing position of these things, but it has so it's got basically the way that we build it here is it has a giant blade on the nose. If we go back to our book cover, you can see one of these on the Star Moth. This is basically a giant cutlass that's on the front prow of the Star Moth, and it basically deals slashing damage as a ship melee weapon. So the Wasp has a ship melee slashing ram on its nose. It's got piercing rams that can basically its legs can be used as piercing rams. It has a ballista sitting on its prow. It has a mangonel at midriff. It has another ballista at the back end of the craft. It has harpoon flingers that are flanking the ballista at the back end, and it has an eldritch cannon, which you can convert cantrips into mounted weapon damage, kind of like a ballista, like a harpoon flinger deals 2d8 piercing damage. An eldritch cannon can deal a number of d8s equal to the rank of your character, like 1st, 5th, 9th, 13th, 17th level is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5d8 damage that you can deal, and then you can convert spell slots into siege damage. A first, second level spell slot does D4 times 10, just like a ballista does. Ballista does D4 times 10 damage. A first or second spell slot amplified through an Eldritch Cannon also does D4 times 10. Third and fourth level spell slot does D6. Fourth and fifth does D8. Sixth and seventh does D10 times 10, and then a ninth level does D12 times 10. Not likely the best use of a spell slot, but if you're a monster that is capable of casting similar scale spells, then you'd be working on, and they don't have spell slots typically, so they would have a refresh die of like on a D6, like a dragon's breath. Depending on how powerful of a creature they are, their CR determines what number they need to roll on their refresh die, just like you would roll on your reload die when you're firing siege crews. So in comparison, a tyrant ship, let's pull that up real quick just so you guys can see it. A tyrant ship simply has a number of eldritch cannons that it can use its ice stalks through, and to fire, like it's a CR 10 creature, so that would be a 4th rank, which is 4d8 damage when it hits you with an eldritch cannon, force damage. But it could also use an ice stalk, like it could use the disintegration ice stalk, amplify that through the eldritch cannon to either attempt to disintegrate an object as per normal disintegration rules of a beholder, or since that's a 6th level spell, or it's effectively a 4th rank creature, it's a 4th rank, it's basically doing D10 times 10 damage every time it amplifies a spell slot or one of his ice stalks, and then it would have to recharge on it's a 4th rank. It'd be a D6 minus its rank. It only takes a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on a 6-sided die for it to be able to recharge and then do that again next turn. So it has 3 ice stalk. It has basically 3 ice stalk cannons or eldritch cannons that are built into the thing. And if you have a beholder at each one of them, it could potentially be lobbing D10 times 10 force damage siege attacks every round, or it could get down closer to anti-personnel weapons and doing 4d8 per blast with no reload die. So it's super fun stuff, super liquid effective, very easy to be able to, like, you could then storm that ship and try to stab the beholders until you deflate them. And that's how you might deal with your threat. Or you could just destroy their ship and just leave the beholders stranded there. So that might actually be the safer solution. But let's keep at this. Let's build this out. So number one is, let's go back down to our wasp. So 1 is here. And then we're going to do piercing rams. Let's put that back in place. Let's save that to refresh it. Piercing rams, I can just put a pointer at some of these legs. Number 3 is ballista. So there's 1 ballista, there's 2 ballistas, ballista. Let's put that. I want to avoid parallel lines, like along the grid line. So let's just do it like this. That feels about right. Number 3. Number 4 is making out. Hey, that's my 20-minute timer popping off. Still got about a little less than an hour. We should have this finished. I'll be back tonight, and we're going to finish this up tonight. And then we'll continue assembly elsewise. Let's trim that down. It's looking a little ragged up there. What's number 4? Number 4 is the mangonel. 5 is the eldritch cannon. Eldritch cannon is here. Let's take number 1. Let's actually pull it over to here, so we can point at the slashing ram, and then we can take number 5 here. And have that point here. I know the resolution is horrible, but hey, Hornetico. The resolution is really low, but obviously if we go down to, let's hit here, table of contents, and let's go down to range ship weapons. There we go. Here we go. High resolution. Eldritch Cannon. This is why, because this is a very, very small space on the page to be able to make out what these weapons are. That's why we have all these pointers. So you can see what weapon it is. And then obviously inside the book you can reference, here's the Eldritch Cannon. Here's a Harpoon Flinger. Ballista, Mangonel, Trebuchet, the Gift's Giant Cannon. Here we're talking about reloading multiple siege weapons together. So let's get back to where we were. I'm tangenting all over the place this morning, Harnetico. It's I've been up late, creating tokens as I do. But we should be publishing on Monday. I might be able to publish on Saturday, but I'm going to let it steep over the weekend. I have Monday off because I go to the dentist, so I'm going to celebrate my day off by publishing this book and being able to just basically talk shop about it all day. So let's see. Mangonel is number 4. That's going to be there. I need to reposition this so that I won't. I'm trying to position everything so that nothing crosses lines over each other while pointing at all the different things. Let's do. No, I need to put this down here so that doesn't cross. But I also want to be able to, since we're going to have number 3 is the ballistas. Number 2 are these. So I'm basically going to have to put a line here and here and here and here and here and here. And that leaves number 6. So I need to put number 6 basically here. Which means I need to bring the mangonel down to here. So I could bring 6 down to here. So I have the right angle I need to be able to point at both of these harpoon flingers at the same time. Hey, what's up? You've been slowly trying to read through the 3 Planescape books, okay? I'm like a third of the way through the sigil setting books and haven't really started. What do you think? I was a huge fan of 2nd edition Planescape. 5e literally added nothing. As far as I can tell, 5e hasn't added anything to Planescape other than a slew of 5e creatures, which, any DM can just make up or just use Flea Mortals. And the adventure, which is, is always a crapshoot when you're looking at Planescape. When you're looking at Wizards of the Coast making adventures, it's always a crapshoot. But don't let me shade your opinion. If the lore is good, then awesome. I would definitely recommend picking up a cheap copy of the 2nd edition books, because goddamn, they're really, really good. It is probably the best flavor I've seen in 2e content ever, by far. I will say that Planescape looks incredibly cool. Hold on. Let me see your text. There we go. Oh yeah? Well, good. I'm glad it's inspiring you. Yeah, it's a badass setting, man. It's as soon as Planescape hit the book stands, we immediately started just everything's planar. Everything can always be planar. There's never a reason for it not to be planar. And you could even use doors to hip hop across into Sigil back to another area, even if you're playing a specific tutorial campaign. You can still have 2 doors set up through Sigil to be able to bounce between the 2 of them to get to locations you might otherwise have, which just expands the character's awareness of where they can go inside of a campaign. Wait a second, there's a whole dimension of doors we can fuck around with. How do I sign on? Almost all of my campaigns have teleportation rings, like a network of different locations that you can teleport to if you can find them. And the City of Doors just really leans into that narrative a lot. So I am, big fan of what Planescape is. Super fucking cool setting. That and Spelljammer together is my absolute favorite expression of Dungeons and Dragons. There, that's gonna work. Oh yeah, we can do that. So we can point to here and here. Okay, cool. So we have our bits in place. Let's start making more bits. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 9 of these. So duplicate. I'll check out your text here in a second. Duplicate, 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 and duplicate. That's how many lines I need. So, home table already wants to play a game where they burn it. Oh, they want to burn down Sigil. This is definitely a little wacky. What I've seen, but the vibes and details. Yeah. It's the border towns and the Outlands is just Outlands are infinite. It's basically an infinite planet it's like flat Earth with no limits. And if you just go that way forever, you may or may not run into a border town. But you can seed border towns in different places. You can create entire nations that are like billions of miles away from any other nation that's just their own little island. But if you know a door there, then you can just hop over there. It's like, welcome to Burbia or whatever. You know, it's just there's no limit to how much you can seed different nations and different stuff in the Outlands. It's just, it's awesome. It is an awesome setting. Tartarus, the giant cube, the giant D6s that float through infinite space. Those can be similar. There's just a lot of different planar content that you can do stuff with. I'm wording at you a bit here. Let's put an angle like that. I bet this is going to work out. God, what a cool setting. I love Planescape. I'm glad you discovered it, man, because it is totally worth your time. Wait, I want to do this, and then put that over these. There we go. Transform. Oh, wait. The way I gotta do this is I have to tilt it just a little bit. Free transform so I can get this, so I can get an angle here to skew. Put that down to there. Wom, wom, wom. More text. Hold on, let me catch up with you. I've become obsessed with Modrons. Funny story. I plan on building a Modron supplement at some point. If I could ever get the Command Mass Combat book published, I want to one of my bucket list items is to create the Modron army. And the idea that I have is that you've played my mass combat system. You've play tested it, so you probably already know how this can work. But hold on, skew. Take this to. Hold on, just let me get this done before I start ranting. I need to rotate that a little bit more. So a typical square Modron fits inside of a 5-foot square, but if you take 100 Modrons, they'll fit inside of a 50-foot square. But if they all link arms, they can become just one giant 50-foot Modron. The supplement, if I ever create it, is going to be called Modronatron, where it's just a book of different Modrons combining in different ways to make Modron mecha at different scale. So the March of the Modron could be a 200-mile sized Modron built out of 10 million Modrons that are marching across the plains. It's just like this giant undefeatable death machine that everyone just gets the hell out of the way of. And then it has like its infinite swarm of 5-foot square Modrons running around inside of it. Ball joints are like the round Modrons, and it links arms with other square modrons so that it creates these different couplings. And I'll have like little gear sets that show how you can click modrons together like little Lego blocks to build different types of modronotrons. It's, oh my god, what a fucking fun supplement. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I hope I can build that before I die. But be welcome to, if that ever has a reason to pop up in your upcoming Planescape campaigns, be welcome to lean into that. I can certainly help with it. Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah, I know, right? Fucking epic. Fucking epic. But that's the kind of shit that we build with 5e here, right? So, anyone out there that's not subscribed to the channel already, you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and get into this gear with us. So fucking fun. Yeah, I want to do that. There's two things specific. There's two monster type books I specifically want to build. It's the Modronatron, for sure, and well, three things. One, I want to build Artificer Mecha, which we can do once this book publishes. We can start doing our Mecha Craft book, and we can integrate Warforged into that. But the other thing I want to do is when the Martial Powers book publishes, I want to build a ranger, a Beastmaster Ranger specifically that works with a mimic, and I'm going to call the book War Mimics. And it's basically large-sized mimics that act as mounts that you sculpt into different shapes so that it can form different living ships or combat mecha that you can then pump your spell points into to trigger different pilot effects that will bridge the gap between Spelljammer and Martial Powers. So that'll be 2025. But those are different books I want to build that are just fucking cool. Whether I do it on the DMsGuild or if I'm doing Creative Commons stuff at that point, I honestly don't know. But these are the different things that I want to build. And none of the language exists for these things. So all these books that I've been building are with the intention of like, these are the kind of tools I want to build with this stuff. So it's all scattered about until you connect them all together. So then the Mass Combat book and the Spelljammer book and the Martial Powers book all blend together to be able to create different types of encounter systems. Like the Modronatron, like Modrons using the Martial Power system, using their kits to have alternate effects like pushback mechanics, or like, you know, any of the 140 different Martial Power ideas that you can just click onto a creature, and then you just decide what theme is appropriate for that creature, and then there you go, Martial Power Modrons. Oh, I detect a flaw here. You know what? Let's do it like this. Let's do it this way, and then go to this one here and mask that one specifically. Plans within plans, Paul. That's what we got going on. I think I'm missing text. What's up? Yeah, my running joke is that I've got 10,000 years worth of ideas, and I got 10,000 books I want to make, and only about 20 years left to do it. Speaking of Planescape, I was really impressed by how many Celestials got added. Yeah, right on. They're tied with Fae as my... nice. They have like 7... Hey, cool. Right on. I'm glad that's scratching an itch, man. Bop, 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 bop. I learned recently from... hold on. I'm fixing a problem I created. There. Jesus, what channel is that? It's Dungeon. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel, but he was talking about how D&D content algorithms work with YouTube, and basically pointed out that if you mute your channel, the YouTube assumes that you're a bot, and it takes away from your visibility, because it just assumes that nobody's interested in your shit. So me playing my stuff and then muting it in the background is basically self-sabotaging myself. Sad. Let's do that. Oh, that's why. Let's bump. There we go. And now we got this thing again. So let's clear that out of the way. Perfect. And there. And what's next? 3, number 4 and 5. Bring this down here. If I do this often enough, we win. Free transform. Pointed to the manga now. Did I get my angles right? Oof, man, not bad. Not bad. Let's just skew that into position here real quick. That's awesome, man. I'm really, really glad that Planescape is jiving with you. That's super cool. It's such a fun setting. And let's take this and drag it down to here, and I guess give back here. And is it this one? Yeah, we need to put our own little blurble on this bit. Wait, that's pointing to the wrong thing. Dab nagget. And I also got to fix this one here. Oof, this is sloppy this morning. Okay, this is all falling apart really quickly. Let's delete these layer masks and reapproach this, because up until now I've been able to just drop them all into the same layering mask, and it's been fine, but that apparently is no longer working. So let's delete. Nope, wait. Let's ungroup. Now we can just leave them in there. Fuck it. Let's see. Here's this one. So I can just mask each individual one, and that's just going to make life a lot easier. There. 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 Let me catch up on text with you. It's always one of your favorites back in the day as well. That was one of the reasons I was so happy when Money Cook did the play. Oh, yeah. Yeah. God, Money Cook, man. I tell you. What a stud. Thank you, Timely Timer. This is pointing in the wrong direction, so let's fix it. Let's go with transform, skew. There. And that seems okay. I'm not liking that angle. Nah, it should be okay. So. How you doing, Ked? It's good to see you, my guy. Let's undo that. Whatever that mischief was. Come on, buddy. There you go. Right. So we wanna. Are these long enough to reach? Signs point to no. Ooh, maybe. God damn, on point, Kearney. My angles are just getting good. Free transform. Skew. Free transform. Let's try that. A little off. Skew. I know ideally this would be a job for vectors, but at this scale it doesn't really matter. And then the last one. I'll figure out vectors someday. This probably would have been the project to figure out how vectors work, but alas, earwax. Did not do. How does that feel? Just like that. There. Off a tick. There. Very good. So let's mask that. And mask that and mask that. Cool. And then do like that. Cool. And then I think I'm just going to peel open all these so I don't get lost. Chips Challenge. If you don't know Chips Challenge, go get it. It should be free online. And should be able to run on your phone, no problem. Infinite Annoyance. one's fine as is. This one right there. Cool. I think there's text happening over yonder. Nah, I don't like how that one sits. Let's just do it like that. So. Nice barbecue. I don't know about that, man. The color oscillations that I'm doing might not make it actually any easier to do. Why do I feel like? I guess I could just, I don't know. I could point and click. See, the problem that I'm facing is I point and click to between the 2 points, and that'd be fine as a vector. But I'm doing this color oscillation thing, so I need to have a stack layer, and I have no idea how I do that with vector. But I can stack up 2 colors and erase, and have a dark one on top and a light one on the bottom. Erase the one on top to reveal the light underneath it, like you can see I'm doing. But oh well, maybe someday in the future, maybe I'll grow up and be a real artist someday. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm just gonna do everything the hard way. There. Get rid of this. Nothing. Very nice. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm just acknowledging that there's skills I could be acquiring that I'm not willing to invest time in doing right now. Like prompting. I could become a prompt expert. At what point does prompting even become irrelevant, you know? There we go. By gum, that's a lot of weapons. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, cool. So let's do that, and let's do that, and then file, save as to computer as a PNG wasp. Yes. By the time that gets done saving, it'll already be file, fill picture from file equals production, YTT, ships, stat sheets, vessels, WASP. There we go. That is a ship sheet. The numbers here are as large as the font here, and these are what, font 12? So there you go. This should be plenty fine for a sheet. We have all the craft done. We have these done at the front end, and we just start working our way backwards. But I still have like 15 of them to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 18 left. So let's start on the Tyrant ship. Tyrant ship's going to be easy. Mwah, mwah, mwah. And we were talking about the destructive capabilities of the Tyrant ship earlier with its eye cannons. Oh, wrong one. Let's close that out. Equals no. And let's go back into open equals yes. Don't click on the pretty picture, Kearney. Click on the ugly PS file. Thank you. Thank you. Take this and we'll... I don't know. Let's put... Yeah, this is perfect. Duplicate. Duplicate. Scayu. No. Very yes. No. And peel that open. Yeah, let's just do one at a time. That feels right. Transform. Skew. Boom, 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 boom. Picture perfect. You might want to take a click, 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 click. Call up Don and send him pop the bottle because it got another hit. Hit. We don't want platinum. I'm who you get. Ludicrous coming back. Track, click, click. I'm Buxton Steel. Same song jumped on because Sierra got sex appeal. And I keep the meanest, cleanest, baddest spin on stainless steel. I care less about your genius, about your status. I keep your stainless steel. Luda. There. Yep. Just a touch off. I can fix that. Screw. And how do we want to do this? Maybe like that. I got another hit. When I want platinum, I'm who you get. There we go. That feels good. Let's play it out. See if it works. If I have to switch, I do. Doesn't feel ideal. Looking for a different angle. Let's stitch that up. Let's drop this. Let's try an alternate. Let's try that one again. I said duplicate, not delete. Thanks, though. Let's try. This might have the same problem, but it might not. Let's give this one a try. One, duplicate, seal all that garbage. Way down there in the toilet. Here. Oh, I feel like this is already gonna jive better. Skew. There. So once we actually finish these illustrations, then we need to, hold on, rotate that just a touch is going to serve us good. Perfect. Where are we at? Oh, shit. All right. I can finish this one before I bail. But between screen time tonight, the couple hours between end of my day shift and logging back in here, and hold on, free transform, like that. I'll finish this the creation portion of this, and then I will skew that. I'll need to break them up into individual. They're tracking sheets. They're tracking cards, like individual character sheets, is what we're building here. So once I get them all assembled like this, I'll then be able to break them off into separate PDFs, and then I'll make a blank one that people can make their own ships with if they want. Is this going to be, yeah, sufficient? So I'll have to break these out into individual PDFs. I'll make the blank one, and then I'll also make them as JPEGs so that they're easily loaded up into any virtual tabletop as well for reference. But they're basically just reference sheets that gather all the information about the different things that ships can do and stuff using this supplement. Just as a quality of life thing. It's none of this shit's necessary for the actual book. But, you know, we do what we must because we can. I didn't want to make a half-assed book. It would be the fucking point. There we go. Those are all sitting pretty now. And so let's take this and let's take this and do that. Break that there. Here with this. Break that here. This is already turning out better. And this will be the last thing we finish. I really want you to get pretty in here. Thank you. There. There it is. Perfect. Cool. All right, now let's go to here. Oops. Work is never done. There. Cool. There, and then here. Gonna struggle here because the 3 low automation. Yeah, I think you're right. If you aren't careful, the YouTube police are gonna come after you for singing. Yeah, I'll probably just lose subscribers because I'm horrible at singing. I think this is gonna work out. Let's see here. But yeah, it's not. It's pretty low res. Here and here. Luckily, this is a really simple model. There we go. I think we got it figured out. Nobody wants to actually listen to me sing. There. That's better. That's better than it was. Ah, well. They can't all be natural 20s. Why would we roll a die? So let's go blippity blop. Save and then file. Save as. Here. PNG. Fill with a picture from file equals. That actually does a decent job. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay, cool. So there we go. Knocked down 2 more of them this morning. Not bad for an exhausted, inefficient fill. But all of the actual stat blocks are all actually resolved. So I just got to swap out all these things. So I've got I will have this task completed by end of night, and that will end all the assets that I need to build. Then I need to go back here and the introduction page. I'm going to fill this with like, here's all the cool stuff that you get when you buy this thing at DMsGuild, and then fill in this page with like a table splash full of different assets that we've made, and then the back page, the back cover is advertisements. So I'll drop in a couple different like Ukulele Bard and Adam Hancock have things that they want to have promoted at the back end of this, and then so I'll put in their 2 spots, and then the rest of it will be different books that I've made that you'll be able to click through to go to the DMsGuild as an advertisement, and that will finish it. So then I'll then be able to seal everything into a zip file, make sure that the PDF isn't broken, and and then make the product page for DMsGuild. And so I should have the assembly work done on. I should have these broken up into individual cards by end of Friday, and that'll give me all of Saturday to create the product page and the compilation intro page, and then the advertising page will be done on Saturday. And then Monday, I took the day off for because I have a dentist appointment in the middle of the day. So I will be creating the product page and then publishing that on Monday, and it'll be done. And then on Tuesday we'll do in the morning here we'll go back to doing Eberron stuff. Almost there, stay on target, guys. Almost there. So that's it for today. I got to bounce out of here. It's time for me to log in to pay unto Caesar what is Caesar's with my time for pay, so that I can keep the computer moving and keep coffee in my blood. Thanks, Taryn. And yeah, so that's it. Check this stuff out. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the mix, y'all. I'm here 11 times a week, streaming in the morning 6 times a week, at lunchtime 3 times a week, including tomorrow, and then in the evenings on Mondays and Thursdays, including tonight. So I will see y'all later there. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and love talking about Planescape. So thanks for the mash. And I'll see you guys later on tonight in about 11 hours. I'll be back around. No, 11 and a half, maybe 12. So 11 and a half. Yeah, probably 11 and a half. Anyway, 7:30. It's 8 here in Seattle. So see you on the other side.